Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is I Don't Want No Huns. I'm a wife, a mother of two, and a part-time anti-MLM YouTube commentator, parodyist, comedian, all of the fun things that you've come to know and love. If you're new here, welcome. I hope that you hit that subscribe button and the bell so you get notifications on all new videos that when they get posted. And if you are returning, thank you so much for being here. I am re-recording today's disclaimer and intro. Today's video comes with numerous disclaimers. There will be discussions of unaliving. There will be commentary on the Holocaust, mask wearing, lots of very triggering things. So I implore you to please proceed with caution. Also, one of the things that I really try to strive for on my channel is that the content is clean, meaning that there are no curse words, that if you're listening to it with children around, with your littles, that it won't be something that you have to suddenly turn off and, run and hide. I am unable to promise that this time. The video we're going to watch has many curse words. And I don't have the savvy or really the time to go through and edit out every time that she swears, because sometimes it is arbitrary and out of nowhere and just really shocking. And I say this again, I'm not a prude. I swear on my own time. There's plenty of times I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I don't swear. However, I try to keep my channel, like I said, clean. I don't want this channel to be something that you can't listen to with your family around. So I just want to put that disclaimer in there. I also want to put one more disclaimer that I am slightly out of character in this video. And when I say out of character, I mean that I have a very hard time keeping my composure at certain points. I believe that I swore at one point when I am repeating something that she has said. I have a hard time keeping my composure. I recorded this late last night because it had been sent to me by many people. Actually, I think at least 10 people had either sent the video to me, told me where to find it, sent me a message just saying, did you see this video? And I chose not to watch it until Roberta and Jacqueline and I were done with our Super Bowl pre-show, because I wanted to be in a good, fun headspace. I didn't want to be angry at any point. So I waited until that was done. And then I watched it. I was going to do a blind react, and I'm glad I did not do a blind react. I watched it and immediately got enraged. Saw how angry a lot of you were on Instagram. And I knew that I just could not wait until the next day, today, to do a reaction. And so I immediately came in here and did my reaction. I don't want to edit out most of what I'm not going to edit out any of my reaction because it is truthful, it is raw, it is exactly how I felt in that moment when I was hearing it. Again, I haven't said it yet, but I want to say, please do not seek out this woman. Do not go to her page. Do not leave her comments. We are not that. That is not what I represent. I am covering her face. I am not naming her name. I do not want you going to her page. I have a link in my Instagram profile, and it will be in the description below, on how you can email Monet to demand that they hold her accountable for this unbelievably awful rhetoric. But I implore you, do not leave her comments. Do not leave her hate comments. We do not need anything that will paint the anti-MLM community to be haters or full of hate or unaccepting or anything like that. Feel your rage and do the appropriate things that you need to do to handle your anger. But please do not take your anger out in her comment section. As much as it is difficult for me to say this, she deserves to be left alone, just as you deserve to be left alone if you said something people disagree with. Granted, I do not assume that anybody watching this that is my subscribers or followers would ever say something so egregious. However, all people deserve respect and deserve a lot of things, even if we sometimes feel like they don't. Sometimes it's very hard for us to admit that other people, even when they say terrible things, deserve things we think that they don't. But they do. I'm working on reminding myself of that every single day. So I say one more time, please do not go to her page. Do not engage with her. Leave her alone. But you may email Monet. You may do your own reaction videos. You may, do whatever you need to in that regard, but do not go to her comment page. So without further ado, let's dive into yesterday's reaction video. I will probably be popping in with some other comments as I edit, with some, supplemental resources and other thoughts that I have that I've, marinated on overnight. So enjoy.
As I've made the decision that I'm not ever putting a face diaper on ever again, for any reason, ever again, period. And I've made that decision because I truly believe that what has happened over the last 2 years is the biggest crimes against humanity that humans have ever seen. Now,
what a statement. What a massive, massive statement. Let's see how she justifies it.
You might be like, what about the Holocaust? And I think this is worse.
You think this is worse? You think that these people who were starved and became just skin and bone, you think this is worse? You think that people being led into gas chambers is worse? Ma'am, I don't know how you can possibly sit there in what appears to be a nice home and have the audacity, the absolute audacity to say that you wearing a face mask, that the entire world being told they have to wear a face mask to protect themselves and others is worse than the atrocities that happened during the Holocaust. How dare you? Even when I did the video about Dramus and she compared a Holocaust survivor's struggles and stories to this business, that was egregious. But she was trying to use it to motivate not to excuse it. Please know that I am not trying to excuse what she said. But you make that almost seem like that was not a big deal at all with what you just said.
Now, before you get your panties in a bunch.
They're bunched. They are so bunched, and I'm ready to throw them.
Hear me out.
No.
Anytime there's a mass genocide against a group of people, it's atrocious. Like, I'm a witch.
Is it? Is it atrocious to you? Because you just said that people having to wear masks to protect everyone else was worse than mass genocide. So is it? And I'm sorry, I cut her off right as she's saying that she's a witch.
I fully understand.
Do you? Sorry, just so that you can hear her fully say it.
It's atrocious. Like, I'm a witch. I fully understand.
Listen, I have no problem with witches. Like, be a witch, don't be a witch. I don't understand it, but I don't care. Okay, I don't think that you're crazy or weird for being a witch. Do you understand? Do you understand what they did to witches? And do you even understand what a witch was that got burned at the stake? I don't think that you understand anything.
Okay. However, what they've managed to do over the last 2 years is brainwash the entire world into believing that a lab-created thing is jumping around.
Do you literally not know how viruses work? It's jumping around? Yeah, that's literally how illnesses work.
And triple, face diapers, rubber gloves,
like I said at the beginning of this video, This is going to be one of the hardest videos I make to be respectful of all people. I pride myself on being respectful of all people, regardless of their opinions. And I have worked very hard to get to that point. I was the person that if you believe something that I thought was ridiculous, I would call you, an idiot, stupid. I would lash out. I was not nice. And I worked very hard to work on that. And you are really pulling me back into that mentality. Because when you say face diapers, actually, face diapers is appropriate. You do need a face diaper because there is literal shit coming out of your mouth.
People think that they're going to just drop dead when there's a 99.9%.
First of all, ma'am, nobody thinks they're going to just drop dead because that's not how the virus works. And if you had done any legitimate reading on anything that wasn't, I don't know, Breitbart News, you would maybe understand that. Maybe.
Survival rate, unless you're...
Oh, and the survival rate. Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started on your completely lack of understanding on numbers and statistics. And you know what? I should have taken the time to really relook up those numbers because statistics is not my strong point. So I don't want to misquote a statistic. But what I do know is that you are misrepresenting what the statistic is on the survival rate. You are misrepresenting it. And just so that I'm clear. So you said that the survival rate was 99.9%. Interesting. I'm pretty sure you just pulled that number straight out of your butt. Let's take a look at some numbers, shall we, ma'am? The U.S. case total is 78.83 million. That's how many people got COVID, with more than 936,000 deaths and more than 49.22 million recoveries. Are those numbers not a big deal to you? At all? We're on track for 1 million people to have died from COVID. 1 in 4 residents have been infected, and at least 1 in 364 people in the country have died from COVID-19. This does not mean a 99.9% survival rate. And we still are seeing the effects of long COVID. People who are seeing issues that are arising because they had COVID. So your statement of a 99.99% makes you look to be absolutely out of your mind, with all due respect. I heard it reported, somebody told me that you said in a video, I don't want to watch most of your stuff because I'm sure it will enrage me, that you were a teacher. I'm so glad that you no longer are, if that's the truth.
0.9% survival rate unless you're obese or have other comorbidities, right? Because obesity is the issue. The issue is not getting sick. The issue is that you're fat and you're...
I said this was going to be really hard. The issue is that I'm fat. Ma'am, I am fat. My husband's fat. And we're actually really healthy. Our blood work comes back really good. We're active. We can do activities. You saying that shows your complete and utter lack of education and knowledge on, one, the word obesity. I'm sure that you believe the BMI chart is a reputable tool, right? You probably believe that. A BMI chart that was made up arbitrarily. The fact that it says that I am obese. I'm fat, but I'm not obese. I'm not morbidly obese. I'm not on death's door because I'm fat. You saying the problem is that you're fat makes you I'm really trying to choose my words super carefully. Ableist, fatphobic, and I'll just stick with uneducated and ignorant, because those are the only words that I can choose right now that won't completely change the direction of my channel.
You're inflamed and your body can't fight off illness. Like, you wouldn't have lived in the Oregon Trail. You wouldn't have
You wouldn't have lived in the Oregon Trail. Ma'am, yes, I would have, because if I had fat, I was healthy. Do you understand that before modern age society, people who were fat were a sign of wealth and being well fed and nourished? Fat people were nobility, and skinny people were the peasants and the poor because they didn't have any food. How dare you say I wouldn't survive the Oregon Trail? Ma'am, I have never died from diphtheria on the Oregon Trail when I was in second grade. Thank you.
Survived. We've made these phones and eating shit food. Like, we've made...
While she has a coffee filled with cream in it in front of her. I'm sorry. Like, now she's coming at people for their food choices. And you know what I'm going to do when I leave here? I'm going to go have some Sun Chips. Because I can still be healthy and eat your quote unquote crap food. Sorry, if she has children, they probably eat the worst tasting food. They probably have kale for lunch.
Starbucks, McDonald's, like factory farmed meats and cheeses, like food that is full of glyphosate, shit food, shit air, shit water. We've made
the air? The water? Now you're coming for what we breathe and what we drink? Lady, you are making wild assumptions about all of America or anyone that wears a face mask, basically, that doesn't agree with you. Maybe it does smell like shit, but that's because my daughter probably just pooped.
That the norm, but health is frowned upon.
Ma'am, health is not frowned upon. In fact, we are all asking everyone to wear masks for your health. The complete irony of you saying that statement and then refusing to wear a mask is so mind-boggling to me. Like, you say mind-boggling, like something is mind-boggling to you later, or maybe it was in one of the other lives I was watching briefly, that what we believe is mind-boggling to you. I can't. This is one of those situations where, you know, I strive so hard to always see everyone's side and to be empathetic and compassionate about what other people believe. But this is one of the situations where I struggle so deeply to even remotely begin to understand what on earth makes you think this way.
True health, true wellness, herbs, okay? Ancient remedies.
The ancient remedies didn't entirely work because people died at an alarming rate. And because those ancient remedies didn't entirely work, they started to do research and science They started to do science. They started to use science to do research to come up with what we now know as Western medicine to save lives, to elongate the life expectancy of our people.
Homeopathy, those people
is a joke. Sorry. Let me, with all due respect, there are plenty of things about homeopathy that are fine and respectable. But again, I say, before Western medicine made a huge change in the way we live our lives, people's life expectancy was 40 years old. Well, I mean, I'm throwing out a number. I'm not looking up the actual number. But if you lived to 50 or 60, you were very old because you were not expected to live that long. People currently are living so much longer than the government ever expected them to because of, what is it? Western medicine, not homeopathy, not ancient remedies. They are living because of science and because they are staying healthier. Editing Mallory here, popping in with some anecdotal or some additional information. So I did a search, right, to see what can we attribute, what was the life expectancy, how has modern medicine affected it. Some resources say medicine doesn't necessarily give it the boost that we believe, but from this article from the San Juan Basin Public Health, this is like one of the first things that popped up when I did a search on this. Here's it. Let's just read it together. Over the last 200 years, U.S. life expectancy has more than doubled to almost 80 years, 78.8 in 2015, with vast improvements in health and quality of life. However, while most people imagine medical advancements to be the reason for this increase, the largest gain in life expectancy occurred between 1880 and 1920 due to public health improvements such as control of infectious diseases, more abundant and safer foods, cleaner water, and other non-medical social improvements. So let's just really quickly, I also want to comment on how she talks about eating crap food, eating at McDonald's. Let's not forget that the crap food is what the poorer people, middle class and below, are able to afford, that it is extremely expensive to eat healthy. And so that has become a major problem in our country, that if you are not rich, you cannot afford to shop at Whole Foods because food is so expensive. So that's a whole other issue. Moving on. This period is actually referred to as the first public health revolution, and it occurred before the medical interventions of antibiotics and advanced surgical techniques were in place. Oh my goodness, so not homeopathy. So actual medical antibiotics. Okay, historians have concluded that improved sanitation, public water treatment, sewage management, food inspection, and municipal garbage collection almost eliminated the aforementioned causes of death. Also, other social advancements such as greater understanding of nutrition, better housing conditions, air quality improvements, I thought you said that we're breathing crap air. Child labor laws and higher literacy rates also greatly improved overall health and life expectancy. The historical examination would not be complete without an acknowledgement of the impact of vaccines on improved health and life expectancy in the U.S. Although widespread use of vaccines did not occur until the 1900s compared to some of the earlier life-extending population health improvements mentioned above. So they were doing things to improve life, and then science came in and was like, hey, we have something else that'll really help, and that really boosted life expectancy. Vaccines have been so effective at improving health and saving and extending lives that most people in the U.S. have no idea what it's like to watch a child die a painful death from a tetanus infection or to witness a loved one experience brutal paralysis and death from polio. Providing and supporting vaccinations is a key tool in today's public health toolbox. The importance of highlighting public health's role in extending life and improving health is crucial. So do not talk about how this is all, basically you're saying it's a giant hoax.
They're called quacks and conspiracy, you know what I mean, people.
Yeah, that would be you. You are a conspiracy whatever people.
Like, it's actually mind-boggling. And if you live in a state, if you live in a place where, things are pretty free and, people know that, natural medicine is the way, I'm not talking to you. You are the exception.
Natural medicine is not the way. If natural medicine were still the way, everybody would be dying before we were 40. In fact, more people probably would have died from COVID because we would have garbage immune systems. We would have died long before COVID even got here. People would have been dead from cancer. People would have been dead from all sorts of things.
The entire world has become brainwashed.
Boy, spoken like a true cult member.
600,000 small businesses shut down. People killing themselves. People who can't support their family. Children killing themselves. I saw a post last night. It makes me want to weep. This little boy, he was 12.
Okay, so trigger warning. I don't know if any part of this story is true. The story she's about to tell is true. And what she says It just happened. The parents posted on Instagram about it, and they post some very difficult images. What's really unbelievably maddening is what she basically says about these parents. With absolutely no knowledge of who they are. I mean, I would 100% bet money that she has no clue anything about these parents. So what she's about to say, again, trigger warning, this is very difficult to hear what this child experienced, and she is going to make gross generalizations about parenting and these parents in particular that honestly it's unforgivable. I don't think there's any amount of apologizing that she could do that would make this okay. But she is about to make some very awful accusations against parents. So just trigger warning about unaliving. If you want to fast forward or skip this, please do.
He was, being bullied at school because parents are not present. Parents are scared. Parents are on their fucking phones all day long. Parents are like...
Ma'am, does she have kids? I don't know that she has children. I know nothing about her. But what are you doing right now? What a gigantic assumption of all parents. And then throwing out an F-bomb about what parents are doing. You are parent shaming people right now. And you know what? It's actually worse if you don't have children, because then you have no idea. You have no idea. Do not shame parents for being on their phones. What you are about to claim happened is likely not the parents' fault. There is likely a serious mental health issue that was underlying here, and a lot of things go into why any child would unalive themselves. So you stop.
Absent, alcoholics, doing drugs, popping pills. They're not present with their children. Okay? They expect...
Popping pills? What parents are you identifying here? You know what? I take an Adderall every day and an anxiety medication every day for my mental health because I take care of it. So yeah, I guess I pop pills. But when you say popping pills, you're insinuating that all of these parents are druggies.
The school and the little phones are going to teach their children. And this little boy was bullied, and he hung himself with his favorite hoodie.
The ease of which that she just says that, and then she's going to say that she was crying reading it. I don't believe it for a second. What I mean is I don't believe that she retold the story correctly. Again, I can't confirm that what she said was correct. I can confirm that this event did happen, but I couldn't, it wasn't something I was able to really read further about because it would have affected me too deeply. So this story did happen, but I don't know if it's exactly the way that she retold it. And two, I don't believe that she cried about it at all. She just insinuated that because these parents are on their phones and doing drugs, that they didn't notice their kid was being bullied, and then this child unalived himself as a result. Now, this does happen. We have seen this happen. But she just made a gross generalization about mental health issues amongst our children. And as an educator, I am furious that it's not even so much that this woman believes this. This is a thought process of many people. She's the minority. I believe that this is not a widespread thought process, but she believes this.
Off of his bunk bed. I wept last night.
I don't believe you.
What they have managed to do to humanity is the most disgusting thing that has ever happened to humanity. Real talk.
Again, the death of a child for any reason is horrific and tragic. But comparing that as the worst thing that's happened to humanity to the Holocaust, they are two tragic things, but on grossly different levels. And you are completely missing the mark so hard that I can't even begin to feel bad for you. I am having the hardest time trying to be empathetic for what may have led you here. Because in another one of your lives, you talk about you wanting to unalive yourself. And honestly, I feel like it's not true. I feel like it's all fake. Because any person I've ever met that was on the brink of unaliving themselves is not like you at all.
Talk time, I don't care who I offend because
clearly you don't care.
I have people in my life, and if you're watching this, who are like, yeah, I'm all for freedom, and I don't want, these medical choices made for me, but I'm just gonna
It's not a medical choice to be made for you to put on a mask. I don't know how many times I have to say this. I don't know how many times anyone has to say this. Asking you to put on a mask so that you don't spread your garbage germs to other people so that they don't get sick, because we don't know how everyone's bodies are going to respond to this virus, is not a medical choice. It is a kindness. It is a compassionate move. And you are a garbage human being if you think that it is infringing on your freedom.
Put it on to run into the store. I'm just gonna comply because I want to go on vacation. I'm just gonna do it. Literally, you are the problem. You are a sheep and you are going along with what they are doing. The overlord.
I can't even address her calling people sheep. The irony, the pure irony is
are doing in order.
Did she say overlords?
To have a happier life for yourself temporarily. You are willing to temporarily experience freedom to sacrifice your long-term freedom. And
what? Temporarily experience freedom to sacrifice your long-term freedom. What does that even mean? You just were like, let me spit some words into a word salad and toss it up and throw on a little racist dressing and give it to you, and you're going to eat that crap down.
I'm just telling you this because I'm right.
I'm just telling you this because I'm right. Ma'am, you have an opinion, but your opinion does not mean that it's true. And in fact, your opinion is so untrue that it is absolutely offensive, and you must be held accountable. Not that you have this opinion. Let me be clear about something. You have an opinion, you are entitled to your opinion, but your opinions and your words, which you have the right of freedom, you have a free right to speak in the way that you did on the internet, but that does not give you a freedom of consequences. You must be held accountable for what you have said. You are free to say what you want, but you must be held accountable. Freedom of speech does not mean freedom from consequences. This is egregious.
And when I decided I was never going to cover my face again, when I decided that I was never going to go along with this ever again, the freedom in my body, because I am standing up for what's right. Don't even get me started on the fake passports, the fake paperwork. You are even worse.
I would have to agree. If you are somebody who's making a fake passport and fake paperwork so you can go do something, you are also terrible. It's kind of funny that she and I would agree on that.
That is the most spineless. I will comply because I want to do this thing. I'm just gonna. It's gonna.
That's not compliance. Do you not understand what comply means?
Go away soon. Tell me in the history of any government ever, when they have gotten this much power, when they can literally make you cover your face for 2 years, they can make you make your children cover their face, okay? Tell me what government in the history of the world has ever gotten this much power and given it back willingly?
Ma'am, this is not a power move. The fact that you and the people that agree with you think it's a power move is laughable. You want to know why it's not a power move? Come here. You're still allowed to get on the internet and spew this garbage. Nobody's taken that freedom from you. You're still allowed to bear arms. You're still allowed to plead the fifth if you're in court. Lots of things that you are still allowed to do that are part of your constitutional rights. Yeah, asking you to put on a mask when you go out in public so that you don't spit your germs all over people is not a power grab. I don't think that you understand a lot of things about how the world and just, I don't know, compassionate people work. And I bet you're a Christian. Are you Christian? I bet you are. But let's just see if you tell us.
Never. Yesterday I was in the grocery store and I walk around, obviously.
I'm going to file this under stories of things that did not happen.
Everyone here, there's a mandate and everyone here is like triple, you know. And I saw this woman and she had her little girl with her, and her little girl, I shit you not, was walking around like this. And so I'm like, I'm about to go over there. It takes a village, bitch. You're about to get raised.
You know, the phrase "it takes a village" refers to a time when the entire village would help a mother out after she had a baby, help her take care of the baby, help her sleep, cook food, and then sometimes watch after children, you know, yell at them if they were doing something dangerous, things like that. It did not imposing your beliefs of conspiracy theories onto other people. And then for you to say, please forgive me for swearing, bitch, you're about to get raised. You just called this little girl's mother the B word. How dare you? Like, what gives you the right? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. America. That's the crazy part. America gives you the right to say things like this. But again, you're not free from consequences.
Okay, I go over there and the mom has her like little flimsy fucking nothing paper piece of shit over.
I don't know at what point I became so sensitive to a slur of curse words. I don't know when that happened to me, but this is just unnecessary swearing for the sake of swearing. Albeit she's mad, but like, what is she mad about? Her freedom.
Her, you know, breathing holes pulled down.
Her breathing holes? Well, I mean, if I wasn't so angry, I'd laugh, but I'm literally fuming.
And the little girl's doing this. And I smile. I'm like, hey, why are you doing this? And she was like, I forgot my, in the car and my mom won't let me go get it by myself. And I said, you don't have to wear that. You're free. Like, you don't have to put that on. And she looked at her mom like this. What?
This didn't happen. This did not happen. You did not walk up to this little girl and the little girl was like, what? A stranger in this grocery store has told me that I am free? What, mommy? This did not happen. I'm calling your bluff.
I don't have to put it on? And I was like, you don't have to put it on. And she took her hands down. And she stood up taller. And I was like, I don't ever put one on.
And she stood up taller. Ma'am, no, she did not. You know what would happen if you approached my son if he were doing that? He would look at you, come stand behind me, and wait for me to respond to you. He would not be like, this stranger I've never met before has liberated me. What are you talking about?
I'm completely free. They can't tell you what to do. That's your face. That's your body. It's your health.
And you are not her mother. If her mother tells her to wear a mask, her mother can tell her to wear a mask. That's where I think it is even worse. As an adult, if you want to take this stupid little stance you have, forgive me, I don't like the word stupid. If you want to take this uneducated stance you have about wearing a mask as an adult, I suppose that's your right. That, you know, means you might not be allowed in certain places. But as a child under the age of 18, under the age of 10, it seems, if that mother says to her child, I'm your mother, I'm telling you to put on the mask, you have absolutely no right to say the government can't tell you to do it. Her mother did. Her mother told her to cover her face. You have zero jurisdiction in this situation. So if it takes a village, you're the village idiot and you need to be kicked out. I apologize for saying that. I think. Out.
And the mother was just like stunned. She was looking at me and I looked at her and I was like, you can do better. Take it off.
You can do better? You know, and here's the thing. Here's the thing, again, and I'm going to repeat. It's not, at this point, with this particular story that didn't happen, it's not even about whether or not you think that you should wear a mask or not. To tell a mother that she can do better about wearing a mask, you're presenting the situation as if you saw somebody being racist to someone else and you told that person, no, this is literally about a mother telling her daughter to cover her face so that she doesn't contract or spread a virus. And you told this mother she can do better. You are so entitled.
Your child is afraid to live. Your child is already a fucking slave to the state. Take it off. I didn't say that, obviously, but I was very kind. I know I can come across.
I don't think you said any part of this. I don't think any part of this story happened.
Like quite aggressive, but I was very kind and.
Nothing about this is very kind.
There it goes. So that's how I feel about that, and. I know like I qualified for trips. Hey, I'm talking to people. He doesn't care.
Of course he doesn't care, because he's not a prisoner of the state. He's free to do whatever he wants. If that dog wants to bark in your house, he doesn't have to care that you're live.
I know that I've like qualified for trips, but I would either drive my ass there or not go. And like that's because when I say that I stand for freedom, I mean 100%. Done, but I'm not. So I was listening to a podcast yesterday on the current state of humanity, and this brain expert was talking about how
this brain expert, ma'am, tell me that you don't know anything about anything.
The level of anxiety and depression, not just in children, but in adults, has never ever been seen. Our phones, the 5G towers, the chemicals they're dumping from the sky,
the chemicals they're dumping from the sky. Every day, when I go outside, I just stand like this and let the chemicals just pour over me that they're dumping from the sky.
Face diapers, the fucking insane mainstream.
Like, I'm like triggered at her using the F word so bad. Why is that triggering me so bad?
Bullshit news. All of these things are contributing to debilitating anxiety. Do you know how many people in my world have told me they have ADD, ADHD in the last 6 months, year?
How many people are coming up to you and being like, hey, Angela, did you know I have ADHD? I have ADHD. Hey, let me tell you something. Like, hi, my name is Sarah and I have ADHD. What? No, people aren't just telling you this. Also, let's not disregard all of the countless years of research that we have done. So people are being diagnosed with these conditions because now we know how to identify them. There is no way you can tell me that you have any solid proof or knowledge that people before, let's say the 70s and earlier, 60s and earlier, whatever, didn't have ADD, ADHD, depression, anxiety. They absolutely did have these things. We just did not know how to diagnose them. And mental health, the stigma around mental health was worse than it is now. If you had any of these conditions, you were just labeled as crazy and sent to the psych ward, and you were not given any basic human rights. So the fact that we have a higher percentage of people now who have these conditions does not mean necessarily that we as a government, as a society, as a world are making it worse. It means that we have become educated on how to identify it, and so we are able to diagnose and appropriately treat the people who need the help.
You don't have ADD or ADHD.
You're a doctor now.
Been fucking literally assaulted on every single front.
I'm being assaulted right now by you, ma'am. You are assaulting me with your misinformation, your cult conspiracy theories, and your complete lack of education. That's what's assaulting me. Do not tell people that they don't have ADHD or ADD. Because the last time I checked, I didn't really check, but I'm pretty certain I don't need to. You're not a doctor. Maybe you're Gary Young, because he was also not a doctor.
On every single account, you are being assaulted. by your government that's pretending to care for you, and you're going along with it. I'm done yelling, and I'm going to give you tips.
Oh,
the
tips.
First tip is, as you can see, this is...
She really went on this crazy rant about the government pretending to care. Listen, I agree. The government is filled with, I don't know, a small percentage of people who actually went into government to try and help people, and the rest of them who are there for self-interest. I kind of agree with that. I think that it is just never working the way it's supposed to. It's all a big, our universal health care should happen. I'm sure she's not for universal health care, because why would she be? If our government cared about us, we'd have universal health care. Okay. But she's yelling about it. And now she's like, okay, I thought I was done. Here's some tips. Oh, tips and tricks from the Monet rap. I can't wait.
It's my first cup of coffee, and I don't want any more of it. I drank a couple drinks, and now I'm done with it.
So you made that much coffee, had a couple sips, and you're done with it. So what you've just told me about yourself is that you have no problem with food waste, with making more food than you intend to consume. And then when you're done, listen, I'm all for being like, I'm done. I'm not going to eat anymore because my body's telling me I'm full. But I also believe that we should not put more on our plate than we maybe intend to eat, because that's food waste. Don't cook more than you intend to consume. I'm terrible at this. I'm trying to get better at not making more food, because I grew up with this idea of we'll have leftovers, but I never really eat the leftovers, and then they end up going bad and we throw them out, and that's food waste. So I'm trying to fix that about myself. But if I make a cup of coffee, the only reason I don't finish it is because I'm a mother, and moms don't get to finish their coffees.
When you're done with something, put it down. When you're not on your phone,
I'm about to be done with you, and I'm about to put it down.
Turn it on airplane mode. You should have 0 notifications on. It should never ring.
Who are you to be giving this kind of... When you do this, you should turn your phone on airplane mode. You should have 0 notifications. I'm sorry, are you my life coach? My life coach is Jackie from the Connors, okay? Roseanne, if you have not been keeping up. Jackie is my life coach, and she tells me I can do whatever I want because this is America.
You think you're the almighty decision maker around here?
It should never buzz. It should never vibrate.
Don't tell me what my phone can and can't do. This is America. I'm allowed to have my phone buzz at 2 o'clock in the morning if I want to. What kind of tyranny is this? You can't tell me what to do with my phone.
Vibrate. There should be no notifications, because every time a notification happens, your amygdala fires up and your body goes into fight or flight mode. All right? Turn your Wi-Fi off at night. I've already gone over the food.
You can't tell me to turn my Wi-Fi off at night. How will the government know where I am? You can't tell me what to do, ma'am. I live in America last time I checked, and if I want my Wi-Fi to be on 24/7, 365, I'm going to do it, because you know what? Last time I checked, this was a free country.
Food, eat only organic. Stop eating out.
You can't tell me not to eat out. I'm going to go out and eat. I'm going to eat out right now. I'm going to go to McDonald's just because I can, because this is America. You can't tell me what to do.
Poison your food with the chemicals and the oils. I don't care if you think I'm crazy.
I'm going to poison myself every day if I want to, because again, this is America, and I can put anything in my body that I want to.
I literally do not fucking care. Okay? Because their goal is to have everything in your world be so overwhelmingly stimulated that you're never resting, that you're never fully in a state of peace. Why do you think I live the fuck where I live? Why do you think I live here?
I mean, I have a couple of thoughts, but they all involve you being a serial killer. I'm kidding. That's terrible. No, because listen, what do you mean? Why do you think? So are you telling me that you live off the grid? Who cares where you live?
This up because it's long, but everything in your environment is created to keep you in such a state of stimulation.
She really believes that we're in the Truman Show. Do you think that she believes that if you get to a certain point, it's not the sky, it's a wall, and there's going to be a door there, and that there's cameras watching us everywhere? I mean, well, there are cameras watching us everywhere, but do you think she believes we're in the Truman Show? Because I think that that's what she believes.
Stimulation that you are so easy to control.
I mean, I agree. We are overstimulated. There is so much that is all coming in. Okay? I don't disagree with that. But for her to connect all of that into don't put on a face mask, the sheer irony that she would tell anybody how to live their life digitally, but then she won't put on a face diaper to cover the crap coming out of her mouth.
And I do not believe that you can meditate every day, sit with yourself, be with yourself, orgasm every day, turn your phone off, turn your notifications off.
I'm sorry. This is the part that I didn't watch. So the guys, I'm not a prude, but I just
Eat clean, healthy food. Go for walks every day in nature. Take, back.
In nature, but like, what if you live in the city? Or maybe you shouldn't live in the city. You're bad if you live in the city.
Baths, cold plunges every day.
Take baths and cold plunges every day. Guys, do you see me slowly losing it? Can you imagine? Do you think this woman actually takes cold plunges every day?
I don't believe you can do those things and ever experience anxiety or depression.
If I'm taking a cold plunge every day, I am definitely experiencing anxiety because I am about to jump into a freezing body of water, and I am definitely anxious about that.
Anxiety is a removal from the present moment. Depression is a removal from the present moment. That's what these phones do for you.
Oh my God. Did you guys know that she's a psychologist? She has solved depression and anxiety right now. She solved it. Guys, she's a miracle worker.
That's what the entire world that they've designed, they want us to be in. A state of stimulation, so we are very easy to control.
But how can you orgasm without stimulation? You said you should do that every day.
So that we're anxious or depressed and we need medication, we need help, we need therapists. No, you fucking
I think you might want to look into a therapist.
don't. What you need to fucking do is get back to your center and turn all that shit off.
Oh my God.
Clean up your life, y'all. Don't be brainwashable. Oh.
She really ended it with, don't be brainwashable. Oh, and then did the Monet hair toss. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Y'all, that was the most wild thing I think I've ever watched in my entire existence. Well, I'm going to go take the trash out. Because it's Sunday night and I just received a text from my husband that I have to take the trash out because, again, he still hasn't had his surgery on his Achilles heel. So I do it. And I was so mad about this that I did this first before I went to do the trash. I don't know, everybody. I don't even know what to say other than just keep calm. Hopefully there's not a part 2, but I will have a link to email Monet and demand that they hold her accountable for this horrific rant. So, yeah, everybody just keep calm.